They blocked my garage. They nailed a bright notice to the door. It said my garage violated community rules. I stood there staring in disbelief. That garage was on my deed. It had been part of my home since the 1970s. Even the county had approved it long ago. But the HOA didn't care. There was no warning. There was no hearing. They just wrapped a chain around the door and locked it. I had no choice but to park on the street. Rain poured down that night. Water dripped through the cracked window seals. My kids had to climb out of the back seat. Groceries got soaked before I could carry them inside. Neighbors watched me like I was guilty of something. I called the board to complain. They laughed at me. They told me to park outside like everyone else. But they had forgotten one important detail. This neighborhood had only one shared entrance. It all came through a single steel gate. And I still held the old override key. I had kept that key for years. It was left over from the original property deal. I never thought I would use it. But now I had a reason. At dawn, I walked up to the main gate. I snapped their flimsy padlock. I slid my own heavy chain through the bars. I clicked it tight and walked away. Within an hour, cars lined up inside. Engines roared as people tried to leave. Horns blared nonstop. Children cried in the back seats of trapped cars. Workers were late for their shifts. School buses sat idle and useless. I stood on my porch and watched, coffee in hand, calm and steady. The HOA president came running down the street. His face was red. His tie was crooked. Sweat rolled down his neck. He shouted for me to unlock the gate. I shook my head. I told him they had to free my garage first. Minutes dragged into hours. Tempers exploded across the neighborhood. Phones rang off the hook. Even the police showed up. But the deed was clear. The key was mine, and the gate sat firmly under my control. Finally, the board caved. They cut the chain from my garage. They restored my access. And only then did I slowly unlock the main gate. Cars poured out like a flood. Drivers glared at me as they passed, but no one said a word. My garage now stood open again. It was dry, safe, and fully protected. The HOA learned their lesson the hard way. So tell me, if they locked your garage, would you have locked the whole neighborhood in?